Hi everyone. Imagine you are leading a developing nation. Your country faces deep poverty. Your roads are crumbling. Your electricity flickers. And your GDP per capita is a tiny fraction of the developed world. What is your very first move? Most leaders would instinctively answer, we need capital. We need to get money, build factories, buy machines, and the economy will take off. This simple logic, that investment equals growth, is the heartbeat of one of the most influential theories in economic history, the Harrod-Domar model. Today, we break down how this model works, why it convinced Western nations to pour billions into foreign aid, and where it crashed when it met the messy reality of the real world. Let's dive in. Our story begins in the late 1930s. The world was reeling from the Great Depression, and the storm clouds of World War II were gathering on the horizon. Two economists, working independently on opposite sides of the Atlantic, Sir Roy Harrod in Oxford and Evsey Domar in the United States, reached almost identical conclusions. They took the powerful ideas of John Maynard Keynes, who had explained how an economy can be stuck in short-term unemployment, and asked a deeper question: what actually drives growth over the long run? Their answer was elegant and bold. It is all about physical capital, the machines, the tools, the factories. If you want a nation to grow, the model said, you need to accumulate capital, and accumulate it fast. Let's meet the three players in the Harrod-Domar equation. First, the growth rate, lowercase g. This is the target, how much the economy expands each year. Second, the savings rate, lowercase s. This is the fuel that powers the model. It is the portion of national income that households and government do not consume. Instead, they save it. And in this model, every dollar saved is automatically invested into productive capital. There are no leakages. There is no money hiding under the mattress. Third, the capital output ratio, lowercase v. This is the measure of efficiency. How many dollars of machinery do you need to produce $1 of output? If V equals 3, you must invest $3 million in equipment to lift national output by 1 million. Now the formula clicks into place. Growth equals savings divided by the capital output ratio. G equals S over V. The more a country saves, and the more efficient its capital, the faster it grows. It is a recipe with just two ingredients. Why did this model become an overnight hit with politicians? Because it offered something irresistible, a recipe for success. In the 1950s and 60s, the World Bank used this exact logic to calculate how much foreign aid each developing country needed. The math worked like this. A country wants to grow by 5% per year. According to the model, they need a savings rate of 20%. But the population is too poor, so they only manage to save 10%. That 10-point shortfall was given a name, the financing gap. The West believed that if rich nations simply provided loans and aid to fill that gap, growth would be mechanically guaranteed. Pour the fuel in. The engine runs. Billions of dollars flowed across borders under this confident assumption. It was treated as physics, as certain as a watch ticking on a wrist. But reality was a harsh teacher. Billions of dollars flowed into developing nations, and yet many of them failed to grow. Some even went backwards. Why did the recipe fail? 3 reasons. First, machinery is not everything. The model assumed all you need is equipment. But what good is a tractor without a trained farmer? What good is a factory without engineers, accountants, supply chains? The model ignored human capital. It ignored institutions. It ignored corruption and the rule of law. Second, the knife edge. The Harrod-Domar model predicted that growth is wildly unstable. If the actual growth rate did not perfectly match the population growth rate, the economy would either spiral into mass unemployment or explode into runaway inflation. There was no self-correcting mechanism. A small imbalance could send everything tumbling. Third, fixed ratios. The model assumed you cannot substitute labor for capital or capital for labor. But in the real world, technology lets us do exactly that. Robots replace assembly workers. Software replaces office floors. The Harrod-Domar world was rigid. Reality is flexible. Enter Robert Solow. In the mid-1950s, this MIT economist looked at Harrod-Domar and offered 2 devastating rebuttals. First, diminishing returns. If you keep giving the same worker more and more machines, eventually the extra output from each new machine drops to zero. You cannot grow forever just by accumulating stuff. There is a ceiling. Second, and this is the breakthrough, technology. Solow argued that the real engine of long-term growth is not capital. It is technological progress, innovation, better ideas, new ways of doing things that let us produce more from the same resources. Where Harrod-Domar obsessed over quantity, Solow's focus was quality. This insight eventually earned Solow the Nobel Prize and quietly buried the original Harrod-Domar mechanics. So what is the legacy of Harrod-Domar today? It survives as a milestone, a reminder that savings and investment are necessary conditions for growth. It is part of the foundation on which modern macroeconomics is built, but it also stands as a powerful lesson in humility. Economics is not just a gear inside a machine. It is a complex web of people, knowledge, institutions, and ideas. You cannot just pour money in and expect a country to thrive. If this video helped you prep for an exam, or simply made you see the world a little more clearly, hit that subscribe button. In the next deep dive, we will unpack the Solow model and see how technology rewrote the rules of growth. Thanks for watching.